Welcome to Under the Greenlight, where business owners share their story about entrepreneurship, open up about their greatest victories and challenges, and map out their journey from startup to success. And now here's your host, Dimry Henry, Managing Partner of Greenlight Tax Group.
Welcome to Under the Greenlight. Today I am so excited for our next guest. We have Jackson Marburger right here. He is a remarkable graduate from Lake Highlands High School. He's going to the University of Oklahoma, in 2-3 weeks?
I think, 10 days.
Like 10 days.
Yeah. And
he is our youngest entrepreneur ever to be on the show. And I'm super excited to talk to him and introduce him to you guys. So Jackson is a really good friend of my son. And he started a Christmas light business with one of his buddies, Drew Dubiclay, who's not here because he plays for Naval Academy.
He's at Air Force right now.
Air Force Academy. And he's at boot camp and football. What's it called?
Football, I think training camp starts on Monday.
Yes. So we have Jackson, his partner, still working together. And so when did you start this business? Like, when did this come to an idea?
So it was my sophomore year of high school, going into the winter. So 2019, This will be our fourth year.
Wow.
Yeah. So Drew and I heard about it from some older buddies in high school, and we just kind of took it down from them.
So whenever you said, that's a great idea, I want to do this, how did you go about growing your business? Because obviously you have to go through the neighborhood and get the customers, you have to negotiate price, scheduling, right? Because you have your time, which is a big issue in terms of how you could do it. You probably had to hire other people. So and I'm sure you've grown a lot over the last 4 years, right? So getting started is hard. And by the way, it's hard for every young entrepreneur, no matter what business you're starting. It's like kind of getting a blank piece of paper going, what are we going to do to make this work? So how did you guys sort of juggle that? And what was sort of the genesis in your sort of step-by-step process?
Mm-hmm. So the hardest thing was definitely schedules, because Drew played football. I was a basketball manager. You know, football was just kind of ending towards when the Christmas light season was starting, and basketball was starting up. So that November was really hard for us. But the easiest way for us to get customers at the time was just flyers. That's what we did. We walked around, put them in mailboxes. We weren't even on social media.
Good old-fashioned marketing.
Did you even drive yet?
No, that was also the hard part. Yeah, Drew didn't drive either. So both of our dads and moms, mostly our dads, would take us around. I mean, we only had 10 houses at the time. It was nothing crazy. But that was also really hard to do.
The flyers, wow. Okay, and so was it just you and Drew actually doing the work?
Yeah, so pretty much, I think just kind of our first 2 years, it was just Drew and I just doing the work. And any time we had, we do it.
Okay, so do you provide the lights, or does the customers provide the lights?
So when we first started out, it was customers provide the lights. And that made things a little easier, but also this past 2 years, we learned that being able to sell lights to the customer kind of made us a little more money, and it was honestly easier on our part because we knew we were working with.
Right.
We could use the same thing for everyone.
And then you knew which ones were working and which ones weren't, because sometimes that's a big headache when you plug them in and that one bulb is haywire.
Sure. Yes.
So where do you store them then?
So they actually keep the lights.
Oh, okay, you just buy them.
We haven't started renting lights yet. No, we've talked about that. It's just like you said, we need a place to store them. Some people have asked us about it. We'll decline it just for right now, but we definitely are talking about it in the future.
So you started with 10 clients. How many clients do you have today?
So last year we actually had to turn down people just because we had too many people and not enough workers. Last year, honestly, my goal was to double, and we did double, but we went kind of over that, and it was just kind of getting a little out of control. So I think we ended with about 70 to 75 houses last year.
Wow. And are you projecting the same amount for 2022?
The goal, that's a hard goal just to say right now, because I won't be here for the whole month of November.
Right.
Because I'll be at college. But if I can get multiple workers, I plan to do 100 plus houses.
So let me ask you this. When do people sign up and say, put me on your schedule, I need lights?
Customers that love Christmas lights, we both know each other, really good relationships. They'll just tell us, put us on the schedule for next year.
Okay.
So we have everyone's contact information.
And when do you start?
So about 3 days ago, I actually sent something out on social media, just kind of putting our logo out there again, name out there, just for workers. Didn't really get anything back. Wasn't expecting to. Just people know us. So October 1st, I'll contact every customer we have.
Okay.
And then we'll just be like, hey, do you want to, people have the time, no answer, just because it's way too early. But yeah, just people know our name.
So do you start putting up lights in October?
No, so usually our opening date is November 1st, the day after Halloween. That's always been our opening date, but the plan for this year is to hopefully start before Halloween.
Right, and people are okay with that, by the way.
Oh, people want it.
There are people who put up Christmas lights,
absolutely,
like in October.
The funny thing was last year we actually put up like Halloween lights.
Oh, that's great.
Some person wanted like, it was a big house. They wanted like purple and green lights on the roof line. I was like, all right, that's fine.
Right, and well, now with the LED lights, you can actually change the colors, so you can put them on for Halloween and then push a button and like, now it's Christmas. Or even get through Thanksgiving. You could keep the orange and stuff up
People
for
have done it,
Thanksgiving.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay, so now you guys have been in business for 4 years and you talked about having workers. So one of the things that all our clients have a really hard time with is finding really good labor, finding great workers, people who actually want to work and show up on time. Believe it or not, it's a big problem right now for small companies and even really big companies. Are you finding difficulty with that?
So, I mean, I've just been using some high schoolers, some of my friends, and like they want to work. I guess just we've been working out pay, making sure they're good in their hours. So last year I had a friend of mine, I had a couple buddies. I had about 3 or 4 guys, but one of them always wanted to work for me, and he always had work. Sometimes the pay wouldn't be great, just depending on the house. But I plan on like talking to him more this year. But it is a struggle just because of their schedules and pay. Not everyone wants to work right now, especially still being in high school, having to deal with sports and school and things like that.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so now let's talk about the financial side of it. Let's talk about the financial health of your business, right? Because obviously you're not doing this for your health. It really is to make some money. And so as you and Drew were talking about what you're going to charge, when you're thinking about the cost, obviously the cost of your time and then the cost of supplies, what did you guys do to set up the financial aspect of your business? Did you go get a separate bank account with you and Drew?
So go ahead.
Yeah.
That's still been in the works a little bit because I actually just turned 18, so I Drew this past year. So it was a little hard with the whole bank account situation. But basically, there's honestly not a lot of money that you have to put into Christmas lights. You need a ladder, you need a car, gas money, all that. Simple. But we both had ladders just because parents had them. We've had troubles where we may have had to borrow a ladder that's taller than ours or rent one. But that was easy. But I mean, there's really not a lot of money that you need to put into yourself.
That's great.
Now there's more like hard work, like social media. Just find the time for yourself. Maybe some Facebook ads, Nextdoor, Instagram, all that. Built a website this past year. That was our first time doing that.
Who built the website?
I did. I just used one of those website builders.
Templates, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best, but actually I was surprised about how many people actually used it.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that people rather just text us and ask, we want this, we want that. And I'm fine with that, honestly, because it sometimes makes us more money just doing that.
Right.
And it's not hard.
It's easy to manage.
Yes.
Right. So when you guys are thinking about the revenue and how you guys are splitting it, you split everything 50-50?
Everything's 50. Everything is 50-50 usually, but we've had times where maybe Drew's had gone on vacation for like maybe just 3 days and I'm working with another worker and we'll sometimes do like a 40-60 or just to, no matter what, if someone's working on a house and the other worker's not, they're still making money just because we both put the same amount of money into the business. We both share the materials, cars and trucks. So yeah, we've had 40-60, 30-70 situations.
Right. So have you gotten to the point where you have to think about taxes?
Yes, absolutely.
So who's working with you on your taxes? Is it your mom and dad? Your mom's pretty savvy.
Yes, definitely. Me and my dad have talked about it more just because my dad's honestly really invested in this, especially this coming year.
Right.
Just going to college, like he's begging me to keep it, which I agree with. I want to keep this. But yeah, that is definitely a thing we're going to be talking about this year. I want to open a bank account, like you said, a lot more advertising. I'd like to just have someone build me a website that's solid.
Do you have an entity? Do you have an LLC?
Yes, I've actually talked to one of my friends. Her dad is a lawyer.
Okay.
And he's on I think kind of the business side lawyer or whatever. And we talked about LLCs and stuff like that. Okay,
yeah. You and Drew definitely need to get a business entity set up. You need an LLC. Depending upon how much money you're making, you might want to consider an S corp, and so that way you can go get a business bank account. So it's not just in your personal
Exactly.
name. And you keep all your business expenses separate from the personal, especially as it relates to labor. And then you can also pull financials, right? 'Cause
Yes.
Have you ever created a financial statement to see, okay, how much money did we actually make and what was all of our...
Yeah, I mean, I just do it on my own on
Yeah,
a spreadsheet.
yeah.
That's all we do.
By the way, that's how everybody gets started.
Yeah.
Everybody starts with a spreadsheet and then they outgrow the spreadsheet and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, now we need a sophisticated
Which
accounting
was
system.
this past year.
Yeah.
We definitely grew out the spreadsheet where it's like, honestly can't even keep track. Just too many numbers are pushing into that.
You need QuickBooks. And by
Yeah.
the way, it's really easy to use. I can show you, like on a weekend, how to use all of that and get it, because it feeds directly to your bank account. And so it pulls all of those numbers and then it'll categorize all your expenses and your revenue. It's a really cool tool, and you and Drew would love it. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to take a little bit of a turn because you haven't just created the Christmas light business. You were known in the community as the guy who's like, someday going to be a CEO, running your own business, doing something. Nobody knows what you're doing, but you're going to be a business owner, maybe multiple businesses. So recently, I can't remember if it was in May or April, you did a fishing tournament.
Yeah, with
Okay.
my buddy Drew Harmon, yes.
So tell us about that. What gave you that idea?
So, first of all, that was a blast. It was so much fun. So, Drew Harmon and I, he's fishing at Tech right now. Went to Lake Highlands with me. Started the fishing club at Lake Highlands sophomore year with some other buddies. And honestly, like, we've loved fishing at White Rock Lake. White Rock Lake is amazing.
Right.
Not everyone loves it, but we love it. And we're just kind of like, let's put a fishing thing together, a little fishing derby tournament, just get the community out there.
Right.
And we started reaching out to some sponsors to help pay for it. We got water and food out there, and we had like 50 people sign up
That's
for
amazing.
it.
Briggs wanted to do it. My
Yeah.
son, so 12-year-old son, he wanted to do it with his buddies, but he had a baseball tournament.
Yeah, that was it was baseball and soccer that was
so we
kinda
missed out, but
conflicting.
he was so bummed.
Yeah.
And so, did you make money off of it?
The goal wasn't to make money, honestly. Yeah, we didn't want to lose money,
Right.
but the goal wasn't to just make...
Like, kill it.
Exactly. The goal was to have a bunch of people out there just fishing with the community and just kind of build, hopefully, a nonprofit organization.
That's awesome.
I think later this year, we're actually going to hopefully qualify for a nonprofit organization and make this an annual thing.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. You could even make it, BiAnnual? You could,
Yes,
whatever
we
fishing,
thought about
you
that,
know.
but just since we're both still in college,
Right.
it's hard for that.
Yeah.
But I think this past year was May 14th, so whatever that weekend is for next year, we're going to land on the same weekend.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's not your only business.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a big sponsor, Sewell.
Really?
Yeah, Sewell helped us out,
So
automotive
who-
company.
Who got the stool sponsorship?
That was me. So one of my sister's friends, her dad is, I believe, the marketing rep at Sewell.
Great.
Great guy, helped us out with everything. Gave us free water, brought a tent. I think we were raffling off Ranger tickets. It was
Right.
like all-inclusive food and drink.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you can drive a Sewell GMC truck for a whole weekend, and you can drop your car off there and they'll detail it for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
That is amazing.
And then we gave away like $250, $300 worth of prizes.
That is awesome, and everybody had a great time.
Oh, everyone loved it.
So, but that's not your only business. You also, I think maybe it was after COVID or during COVID, I know you bought a big, huge, giant,
Yes.
inflatable movie screen.
Yeah, that was primetime COVID.
Tell us about that.
So during primetime COVID, that was a hit.
Right.
Also, Drew Harmon and I, who was with the fishing, helped us also with that. And, that was great. We loved doing that, honestly. It was a lot of work. That was big time work.
So I know the idea because I got I'm on all the marketing things. And so he rented this movie screen.
We actually bought it.
That's right. You bought it, and then you invited all the families out. I think it was at Forest Meadow football field area,
Oh, yeah, that
right?
was the
And you played
Forest Meadow Mark in the Meadow, yeah.
Sandlot. And people got to bring their own drinks and all the things, but it was like sort of a drive-in, but at a movie, or at the field.
I mean, it was
And everybody
field was
paid,
packed.
I think the fee was, I don't know, what was it?
I have no idea what, someone else was running it.
Right.
They had hired us.
But it
yeah.
was amazing. I'm like, Jackson is doing literally all the things. And so when you think about business owners out there who want to do something, but they don't know how to get started. I mean, what is your advice? I mean, and by the way, you're going to be thinking about this all along the way. And I know you're getting ready to go to college. And what are you majoring in?
Business, shocker. Yeah.
Yeah, shocker. Any specific aspect? Like accounting, marketing?
I've been thinking about my minors a little bit. Finance is up there. Entrepreneurship is up there, but I haven't really just decided on that yet.
You can figure it out.
Yeah, my mind is really open
when you
right
get
now.
there. Yeah. And you're going to do awesome, I know, no matter what you do. But as you kind of think about this, I know that you're going to learn so much when you're at OU. But man, you're going to bring so much to that classroom too with what you've already accomplished. And I just know that for a lot of people out there, they get stuck, in their 9 to 5, working for the man.
That's the one thing I never want to have to work.
Yeah.
That's honestly the big goal, is to never have to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah, because you get to make choices, you have control and freedom, and you know what you're capable of and the value of your time. So that's going to be huge. So thinking about your dream job, I think everybody might want to know, what is that? What is it that you really, right? And by the way, you might not know the answer now, and that's fine, but it'd be fun to kind of look back and think, what do you really want to do?
It's not, I don't think I know where I want to do things. I think I just want to be able to be the boss of something. So does everyone though,
right.
Obviously. But yeah, I would love to, I've honestly never liked working for anybody. I've just always liked taking control and being a leader. But the
so
goals,
why is that? What in your DNA? Because I know it's not that you can't take direction, and I know it's not that you're not coachable, because you are both of those things. So what is it about being the boss and in control that really excites you? I
like moving fast, I like moving quick, I like getting things done now. I don't like waiting in 2 weeks or anything like that. I like taking my own initiative, and just honestly, I think that, say someone hired me as a Christmas light guy, I think I can get twice as many customers as they can.
Yeah.
I'm all about getting more money. Honestly, I know that sounds bad sometimes.
No, it's not.
But I'm all about just getting more and more, even overloading myself sometimes. But that is just, I like doing my own thing. I don't like anyone telling me what to do.
Right. So when you think about making more money, what's your motivation for the money? Because obviously money is a motivator,
yes.
But money is going to gives you some sort of ability, power, or freedom.
Yeah.
So what is it that you're thinking about?
I guess it's not you don't have to worry about not having money. That's always a big thing for me. If I want to go run down and get some food or things like that, I don't have to worry about
right.
checking the bank account or anything like that. I know I've got the money. I know me and my parents are starting to talk about investing in myself and things like that, just because I turned 18, I have more control over that. So right before I leave, we'll do some investing and things like that. And it feels good.
Yeah,
Really
it's
does.
accomplished. So thinking about your motivation, who in your life has been some of the biggest motivators or even inspiration to you?
Drew Dubb, for sure, my business partner in JD Lightco. Sometimes, we'll fight throughout the jobs all the time.
Yeah.
It happens nonstop.
What do you fight about?
Sometimes it's money. Sometimes it's let's just take the day off. Let's just not do anything.
No.
Yeah.
And you want to keep going.
Yeah,
You're like,
we're
no.
let's do another house, and
any
it's
days
8 o'clock
off.
at night. Just the randomest things we'll fight
Yes.
about. But Drew Dubb, and honestly, my dad and my mom for sure. My dad's really invested into me and making sure I continue this, hire more workers.
He
and
is.
things
Your
like
dad.
that.
I've had a long conversation with your dad about it at the graduation party,
Yes.
and he is super excited about what you're doing. So proud of you.
Right now I'm actually working on building an app for JD Lightco with a buddy of mine, and then actually creating a Christmas light right now.
Wow.
Do your parents ever tell you to slow down?
Oh,
Like you're
my
doing
mom
too much?
100% does, yes.
She
Absolutely.
does.
Like it's
Yeah.
10 o'clock, you need to be home.
It's
got school
not more
tomorrow.
of that. It's just just take a breather,
Take a break. You're only
Yeah.
18,
Exactly. That's
Live
I
your
hear that a
life.
lot,
Right.
but this is what you're doing. Like it's,
Yeah.
and you're killing it.
Lots of late night Home Depot runs
Yeah.
in the winter.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so thinking about the people that have worked for you, what are some of the biggest pet peeves
It's
or
it's being on.
challenges?
Timing is, Drew will say that I will cram everything in, timing wise, but it all works out.
Yeah.
It does. And I think my time management is insane. It's great.
Oh, you're so good at it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you had to fire someone yet?
No, I have not. It's not, it's more of hey, like I'll just have someone else do it instead.
You're like, yeah, you need to show up tomorrow.
Yeah, but I haven't had the chance to fire anyone yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
Has it ruined any friendships or anything like that?
You know, it hurts sometimes. Like
Yeah.
Drew and I just want to talk to each other throughout a job sometimes, but it all works out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I wanted to ask you if you were going to give advice to any young entrepreneur or somebody starting their own business. What would your advice be? What would your advice be to sort of a young Jackson? Like you were a sophomore getting ready to start this business or these ideas. What would your advice be?
Yeah, well, like you said earlier, it's hard no matter what. But I think the most important thing is you just have to commit to it no matter
Right.
what. Like, honestly, I didn't think the Christmas light business was hard to start, but Wildcat events and drive-in, that was hard to start.
Right.
That was really hard to commit to. You know, it paid pretty well, but I mean, it was like, 2 or 3 hours of prep work before that and an extra hour at the end cleaning up. Like, I think, honestly, committing, putting your own time in there, not going to do something else and then doing what you need to do
Right.
with that event or job is the most important thing. I think also you need to, people say you need a ton of money to start things with. I don't really believe in that. I think if you have, maybe a few $100, like
I love that.
Yeah, I don't really think you need a ton of money to start things with.
That's kind of an excuse I think people put out there, like, no, I can't do this because it's going to cost too much money, or I have to wait until I get this. I mean, you're a prime
Yeah.
example. No, you don't. I
No,
have a ladder. I have.
Exactly. Like Drew's dad's the one who used the ladder from, and
Right.
it works great. Sometimes he likes to steal it from us, but we just don't give it back. But yeah, I don't really think you need all the money.
No excuses.
And then, honestly, I will say a lot of people don't like having business partners. I don't think because they want the full cut. But I think having a business partner is the best thing to do, 100%.
I
everything you
agree.
do.
So tell me why you think that.
More ideas for sure. And then also you can split costs with them. Our driving screen, I think was like, what, $1,200, $1,300 and ended up being $700 each.
Right.
We made our money back in the first night.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Splitting costs. I think you can also double your money in a way. You just have to be smart about it.
Right.
You get more customers. Like everyone's first to go to is family members, right?
Right.
Like brother, sister, mom, dad, all the above. And I love having my business partners.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
not only that, studies have shown that businesses are much more successful than if there's 2 or 3 owners rather than a
believe it,
single
yeah.
member because of the accountability.
Yeah.
So you're accountable to Drew. Drew is accountable to you.
Exactly.
Those days where you're like, I just don't want to do it, like you get up and you do it because of Drew and you have to be responsible to him and all of that. So there's so many studies that show about multi-owned or person businesses. So yeah, and you're experiencing that.
Absolutely, like kind of how I said, like Drew's out one day, I'm still there.
Right.
Like someone's still like in the office working and things like that.
Yeah.
No matter what.
So do you have any availability for more Christmas lights this season, or are you tapped out?
If someone asked me that, I wouldn't say no.
You wouldn't say no. You'd figure it out.
Absolutely, that's the big goal. We always figure things out.
Yeah.
'Cause some people may not come back to us because they don't want Christmas lights, or sometimes they get a little expensive.
Right.
But there's always new people coming, and I love it. I will never say no. I will somehow make it work.
You'll
Like,
yeah.
If I can the goal is to get at least 2 crews going this year.
Okay.
And then for the whole November, and I'll be back in December. And if I can get 2 crews going, the whole weekend, Friday through Sunday, I ought to be able to get a lot more houses.
That's going to be amazing. Well, Jackson, I just can't tell you how awesome we think you are, and I know everybody in our community does, and even your friends are like, holy smokes, Jackson, Drew, you guys are killing it, especially with Drew being at the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
It was kind of emotional when he left.
He's actually he finished this today.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we wish you so much luck, and you have to promise that you're going to come back, you're going to check in.
Absolutely, 100%.
And keep us informed on what you're doing and how you're growing. And if somebody does want to hire you for Christmas lights, how do they get in touch with you?
Facebook is our big thing right now.
Okay.
Just JD Lightco. Just look us up on Facebook.
Okay.
We also have we're also on the internet. We have a website. You can look up JD Lightco. You can contact me at my phone number, and our emails are all on Facebook and everything.
Okay.
Facebook is the way to go for us.
JD Lightco.
JD Lightco, just JD and then Lightco.
Perfect. And I know Melanie, because we always like to do this at the end of our show, kind of get personal and ask some really questions that have nothing to do with business. So thinking about that, Melanie,
Yes.
get into his head and find out a little bit more about
But
Jackson.
first, you need to be teaching the classes at OU because that's amazing. Do you like your French fries? Do you like waffle or straight fries?
This is a really important question, Jackson.
is.
We need to know.
No, I think I'm more of a straight French fry kind of guy.
Nice. So with you, getting a nice income, what was your first big purchase?
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a boat.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
A fishing boat?
Yeah, it's a bass boat. Mhm.
Do you still have it?
Oh yeah, no, I was out last night actually
That's amazing.
at White Rock.
Fun. So since you do Christmas lights, do you like the green ones or the red ones better?
Actually, neither. I like the just the clear ones.
Okay, but so which one's your favorite color, green or red?
Probably going with green.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Do you like to watch or play sports?
I love to play sports, but in high school I actually never played any, so I was just a basketball manager.
Wow.
But both. I love
still
to play.
fun.
But,
You still
but
play.
that's what Jackson does. He manages
Yeah.
all the things.
And lastly, what do you do for fun? Or do you have
Yeah,
any
I mean,
time?
I fish for fun.
Just
yeah.
fish.
I fish. We'll go hoop at the gym sometimes, but mostly fish and play basketball.
That's good. It's good you got some time to
Yeah,
get out
absolutely.
and still hang out with your friends.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than just working with
They
them.
do. They're getting it in. They're getting it
Awesome.
in. Well, again,
amazing.
we really, really appreciate it, Jackson. You are in our thoughts and prayers. We know you're going to be amazing at OU, and I'm of course, I went to OU, so I'm super
Yeah.
excited that you're joining. That you're going to be an alum. But thank you for being on the show. Thanks for taking the time to do that.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for watching. And that's all for Under the Greenlight. We hope you'll tune in next time.